From 2011 to 2013, I was elected the sports union president. I mean, now looking back on it, it was one of the best jobs and roles I've ever had. Initially, I probably ran for two reasons really. One, hugely invested in university sport, and for me it was a chance to really give back to the experience that I had as a student. So I'd got so much out of it, I was able to use a lot of examples and going forward for jobs. So for me, I wanted others to have the same experience, so that was the main driver for me for running. It massively helped me through the networking, especially being in that position opened up doors that I couldn't really foresee happening for many years down the line, and the union and the university were extremely supportive in helping me get to those positions and supporting my career development opportunities. So for me, that was really the catalyst that started off my career in sport, and from there I will always remember looking back on it now being extremely grateful to the people that I worked with and the students who elected me, because that has ultimately led to me the position I am today. I would say if anyone's thinking about running for it, just absolutely do it. Throw your name in the ring. There's nothing to lose and everything to gain. It's just one of the best experiences and probably the best life choice I've ever made, so just go for it.
And I was student union president at Stirling from 2014 to 2015. I decided to run for a position within the student union after a couple of friends of mine who were active in student politics had kind of suggested that I take a look into what it meant to be a sabbatical officer. I was really passionate about making a difference in the local community, and I was really a proud University of Stirling student. It offered me loads of really great opportunities throughout my 4 years there. I never thought that I would run for the top position of president, but after a friend of mine was like, oh, well, why not? I just thought, hey, let's give it a go. What's the worst that could happen? Being student union president gave me so many skills and experience that I still use today. There's obviously the ones that you would think of, so like leadership qualities, communication skills, negotiation skills, public speaking, writing policy documents, teamwork, but also ones that are really practical, which is great as well. And when I was doing up my CV, I realised that there was loads that employers were looking for. So that would be something like understanding financial statements and managing a budget, having project management experience, and also I got a really in-depth understanding of the higher education sector, which was totally invaluable for me. I wouldn't have got to where I was today if it wasn't for the time that I spent in the student union and the jobs that I've had after that. I've really changed my life, so I'm so pleased that that's allowed me to do that. My tips for those of you guys thinking to run this year would be just to speak to literally everyone that you can. Speak to societies, speak to sports teams, to lecturers, people you know from your course rep training, any student that you know, tell them why you're thinking of running and get them to tell their friends too. Along with students, I would also say speak to the people who know the student union inside and out. So that would be the current sabbatical officers and also the staff too. I had a chat while I was developing my manifesto with the chief executive, with some coordinators, with the marketing team, and that really, really helped me to shape it and to make sure that it was a good manifesto. But mostly just enjoy it. It's the most fun time. Regardless of the outcomes, elections are just great. You get to meet loads of amazing people and learn loads of really great skills. So yeah, just enjoy every minute of it.
My name is Jack McConnell. I'm about to become Chancellor of the university. I've done a lot of things in my life, fortunately. But a long time ago, and from 1980 to 1982, I was the president of the Student Association at the University of Stirling. Well, I was a kind of mouthy wee guy, basically, on the campus. I had a lot of opinions. Most of the sabbaticals immediately before me had been mature students, people who had a bit of experience outside of education before they became students. And I was this young guy who was always involved in all the arguments and organising politics on the campus, and I felt that there were things that needed to be tackled. I wanted to change certain things inside the university, and I really wanted the university involved in a bigger way in national campaigning for education and against some of the things that were happening at that time. So I was really motivated, I suppose, by wanting to put into practice the things that I'd been talking about, and becoming student president gave me that chance. It was a pretty spectacular couple of years. In the middle of the 2-year period, the university was given a cut of about 20% in its budget from the government at that time. There was a question mark over the future of the university, that perhaps it might be sold off as a holiday park. That was one of the things that was being discussed, that it might not survive. It had only been in existence since '67. And we launched a massive campaign to save the university. So at the same time as doing lots of other things, built new accommodation on the campus, made some changes in other ways too. We were involved in this huge national campaign to save Stirling and to try and reverse some university cuts generally. And I suppose the highlight of that, two things really maybe highlighted for me over the 2 years. One was, I think I learned quite a lot about leadership, about bringing people with me, about making tough decisions, about learning from your mistakes, which is always important. But also I learned the power of mobilisation, and we had at one point, we had an event in Queen's Court involving students and staff to protest against these cuts. At that time there were only 3,000 students and about 1,000 staff, including everybody, cleaners, lecturers, the whole shebang. And that day we had 3,000 of those 4,000 people at the rally inside Queen's Court. And there was a real sense then of the power of unity and a sense of purpose and people speaking with one voice. I think my main tip for people running is if you don't succeed, don't give up. Because I ran before, I lost the first time I ran, and I learned a lot from that about campaigning, about communicating with people, about not being such a wee naff and becoming more accessible and relaxed about my politics. So I think yes, run, but not necessarily always just to win the first time round, to get the experience of being in a campaign and communicate with people. If you enjoy that experience and you've got even better ideas the next time round, then you might succeed that time.